Welcome to the deep dive. So today we're digging into something I think you'll find interesting, given your focus on learning fast and pushing past those mental blocks. It's this idea of resurrection.
Right, but not in the strictly religious sense, more as a metaphor for mental resilience, bouncing back.
Exactly. We have this piece that, well, it starts with the traditional definition, Jesus returning to life. But then it quickly broadens out. It talks about anything that was maybe lost or ended, coming back into use, finding life again.
And that's really our angle today, isn't it? How this concept, this word resurrection, can help us think about overcoming mental difficulties.
Yeah, without getting completely overwhelmed. So resurrection, let's make that our focus, our word for this dive.
Okay, so let's get into it. The challenge of mental setbacks. The source uses this analogy with weight training. You know that feeling?
Yeah, like every single lift feels harder than the last one. You just want to drop the weights.
Precisely. There's that resistance building up.
And your brain is kind of screaming, stop, right?
That's what the piece suggests happens mentally too. With repeated effort on something tough, our brain can kind of develop this resistance. It almost wants us to stay down, avoid more struggle.
Which makes sense from a self-preservation standpoint, I guess.
It does, yeah. But the piece warns that this mechanism, while understandable, might actually stop you just before you break through.
Right. You could be so close to that next level, that deeper understanding, and you stop because it feels too hard. Missed opportunities.
Exactly. So what can we do? What are these mental resurrection strategies the source mentions?
Well, one is this idea of meeting halfway. What's that about?
It's basically acknowledging you don't always have to just brute force it right then and there.
Okay, so step away.
Yeah, step away, try again later. Give yourself that mental refresh, like letting your muscles recover before the next set.
Makes sense. But the source adds a caveat, doesn't it?
It does. It acknowledges that, your initial spark, your interest, it might fade a bit if you step away for too long.
That's a really practical point. It's not a perfect solution, just another tool. Taking a break helps, but you still need to kind of find your way back.
Absolutely. You acknowledge the fatigue, the resistance, but you consciously find a path to re-engage when you're ready. Persistence is key, even if it's delayed persistence.
The source also uses some visuals to reinforce this. There's this image of a wilting flower.
Yeah. Bricking back up in the sun.
What does that image say to you?
Well, it really highlights that recovery, that renewal. It's often gradual, isn't it? It's not always this sudden burst. It takes time, the right environment.
Yeah, it takes what it takes. It's not instant. I like that.
And then there's the proverb.
The Japanese one. Fall 7 times, stand up 8.
Right. What strikes you there?
It's the stand up 8 part. It's not just getting back up to 0, is it? It's like you surpass the fall. You end up stronger, or at least more persistent.
Exactly. It embodies that relentless effort going beyond just recovery.
So let's loop this back. For listeners interested in efficient learning and getting past challenges, what's the core message here?
I think it's really about normalizing the struggle. That mental resistance, feeling like you want to quit, that's actually, pretty normal. It's part of the process.
Right. It doesn't mean you're failing.
Not at all. And this idea of resurrection, finding ways to re-engage, whether it's pushing through or stepping back strategically, it gives you agency. It's empowering.
So wrapping up, resurrection here means that capacity to revive our effort, our mindset after we stumble mentally.
Yeah. Understanding the brain wants to protect us, sometimes by making us stop, but finding ways to persevere anyway, immediately, or maybe after a pause, like standing up that 8th time.
Okay, so a final thought for everyone listening. Think about a challenge you're facing right now, maybe something you feel stuck on.
How could you apply this idea of rising again? What's one small step, like that flower perking up, that you could take towards renewed progress or just a fresh perspective, something to consider?